Not long ago, it was reported that I don't even know what the guy's official title is. Human thumb border czar who looks like a canned ham in an ill-fitting suit, Tom Homan. It was reported that during the 2024 presidential campaign, so sometime during the summer or fall of 2024, he got caught up in an FBI investigation. The FBI were investigating somebody else, and they got a tip that Tom Homan, who had been the border czar in Donald Trump's first term, was taking bribes. He was taking bribes from business interests who could benefit from Donald Trump's reelection and Tom Homan then being named as border czar again, which would put Tom Homan in a position to steer contracts to various businesses, private prisons, whatever, use your imagination. And so, as an offshoot of their original investigation into someone else, because they had gotten this tip, they were like, okay, well, we should probably check this out too. And it was reported at the time, this was 4, 5, 6 weeks ago, that Tom Homan, before Election Day, accepted a $50,000 cash bribe in a grocery bag, $50,000 in cash, from two undercover FBI agents who were posing as businessmen who would have some type of immigration or detention related business interests during a second Trump term, and who would benefit personally, and their businesses would benefit from Tom Homan being able to steer contracts towards them. It was reported that he took a $50,000 cash bribe in a plastic grocery bag from two undercover FBI agents. And at the time that this was first reported, it was just, sources who were familiar with the matter. And then, of course, Donald Trump won the election, got inaugurated. Tom Homan was named as the border czar. And between Kash Patel at the FBI and Pam Bondi and Emil Bove, number 2 at the DOJ at the time, Emil Bove primarily determined that the investigation was not worth pursuing, and he killed it. Members of the Senate thereafter were able to question Pam Bondi, who was incredibly disrespectful and condescending during her testimony, as well as Kash Patel, who, again, perpetually looked like a bug-eyed possum who had just shit his pants. And neither one of them would confirm or deny that Tom Homan actually did take the $50,000 in cash. Neither one of them would confirm whether or not he took the money, whether he kept the money, whether he reported the money on his taxes. And so yesterday or today, members of the Senate and the House both did FOIA requests to the DOJ, Freedom of Information Act requests. And now it's being reported that there was an audio recording of this meeting and that there was a video recording of this meeting. There is video of Tom Homan accepting a small plastic grocery store bag from two undercover FBI agents that contained $50,000 in cash. And when Tom Homan has been questioned about this, because the FBI and the DOJ dismissed this investigation, he won't confirm or deny whether or not he took this money either. His response to these questions is simply, I did nothing illegal. because the DOJ and the FBI closed the investigation and dropped it and didn't pursue it. All he will say is, I did nothing illegal. He has never said, I did not take the money. So I think the quite reasonable inference at this point is that he took the money, he kept the money, he did not report the money on his taxes. Broader concern: is there really anyone watching this video who thinks that this was the only time that Tom Homan did this? He had clearly done it previously, such that the person who provided the FBI with the tip that he was doing this was aware that he had done it previously. How many other times had he done this? What were the other amounts that he accepted? Were those also $50,000 or $100,000 in cash bribes that he took in small plastic grocery bags? Has he steered any contracts to anyone who works for companies who paid those bribes? It's stunning. It is stunning. He was taking bribes before Election Day, before Donald Trump had even won. Was there some kind of an agreement that he would pay these bribes back if Donald Trump lost the election? Or was he just going to keep the money anyway? Were these bribes non-refundable, irrespective of the election results? And because this information became known to Donald Trump, his incoming administration, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, during the transition phase, before Donald Trump was inaugurated, when Donald Trump named Tom Homan to be border czar a second time, Donald Trump knew about these allegations. And as soon as they were sworn into their positions, Pam Bondi, Emil Bove, and Kash Patel were able to watch that videotape of Tom Homan taking $50,000 in cash in a small plastic grocery bag from 2 undercover FBI agents. And they were also able to listen to the audio recording of that meeting / transaction as well, and said nothing. When Donald Trump nominated Tom Homan to be border czar for a second time, Emil Bove shut down the investigation. Pam Bondi said nothing. Kash Patel said nothing. Dan Bongino, little Danny Boing Boing, number 2 at the FBI, said nothing. This is the most corrupt fucking presidential administration that has ever happened at any point in time in the history of the United States. Took a $50K bribe? That's fine, whatever. We'll just shut down the investigation and you can still have your job. Even though we knew about that before we offered you the job. It is a fucking clown car of corruption, criminality, and incompetence, and Trump supporters do not care. Because they are stupid and gullible and easily manipulated, and in reality, they hate the idea of the United States of America, and they absolutely hate 65% of the people who live in this country. And to that, I say, fuck you, Trump supporters.